Yeah, okay. Yeah, is my screen is visible, Vishwa?
Yeah, visible, visible.
Yeah, okay. I think let us start. If the people will join, let they can join in the middle. Okay.
Sure, sure. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hi everyone. Today we are going to start about the Power BI training course. Most of the people in in the last few days have been sending the communication for attending this Power BI training course. So myself, I'm Janardhan Patipaka. So I'm working as a specialist data engineer. So I have total 8.5 years of experience in the IT sector, uh, and working as a Power BI developer. And apart from I have my skill set is I have the knowledge on Power BI, SQL, Azure, uh, and Snowflake, and also I'm upskilling myself in the Python. And now I did some certifications related to the Gen AI and AI and machine learning. So most of the since last 3 or 4 years, like 4 or 5 years, have been mostly my core competencies regarding the Power BI. So I have started for training this Power BI course, which will be of a 2 months course, and where we started, and also apart from this, and what is the knowledge of the SQL that is needed as a Power BI developer, that will be also covered in this session, like in this particular course. So, my coming to my teaching experience, since being 8 years, I've been associated in teaching various platform. Have trained not only for the science students, not only the software, or have been experienced in teaching to the group students like group one and group two. And apart from that, I have trained for teaching the general science for the UPSC students. And apart from that, I have trained for some like botany and zoology for the students as well. And there are few batches that I have learned for training the Drug Inspector Institute, where have been collaborated with various institute, have own my institute like Akshara Pharmacy Academy and also ES Pharma Education. So I have been worked as lecturers where I train the GPAT and NIPER students in ES Pharma. So apart from that, now this is the academy, that Akshara Pharmacy Academy, where I started for training the GPAT and NIPER students. And after that, after shifting to the software, I have started my own career, like teaching students online through the Power BI. And recently, I have also started the Advanced Excel with AI course, and which has got a good response from the students. So apart from that, not only this, I have published many books related to the Telangana movement, where I was worked in training for the group and group two at teaching in different institutes, where I have started with publishing the different book like Telangana movement, which has sold more than 50,000 books only in the short speed of 3 months. So this is a basic introduction of myself, and this is the fix that we have not only from here have given the guest lecture in the various institutes where I travel all over through the India, I went first to train the students in Gujarat, Chandigarh, and also I've trained the students regarding the ES Pharma when I worked in like Guntur, Rajahmundry as well. So the majority of this, like most of the people might be have attended my previous demo session where I have explained about the importance of this Power BI. So the reason being this Power BI, the tool has got the rapid, tremendous response nowadays. The reason being, in the present section of in this particular scenario, uh, every organizations, it may be a smaller organizations or it may be larger organization. It is depending upon the data. So whatever, because now the world is moved from into a paperless government. Now the world is moving towards most of the transactions are happening online, and due to the presence of this digitalizations in the market, so we are moved into the digitalization world where everything the transaction become online. So every organization, it may be a smaller organization or it may be a larger organization, most of the organizations are depending upon their data, because whatever the transactions that you make in online, so everything it is making some data. So that's why what is this Power BI will be useful. This Power BI will help you to connect with this data, and from that data it will try to create some important visuals, and those visuals we'll be sharing to the clients, and client will access that reports. That means simple as a Power BI developer, your duty is you will connect to the data, and this data may be a smaller organization, they'll maybe store this data in Excel, but any larger organizations, they will be stored this data in SQL or some databases. Our duty is like we will connect to this data given by the client. From that, you will make some important reports based upon the data, and you will share it to the client. Because if you share the data in the form of a report, some visuals, it will be easy for a client to interpret his business. So that is a simple basic. And before going to any course, like you may think that is there is a demand for the Power BI. So when you look at in the present data, see every in how much data, that means every day more than 328 million terabytes of the data is generating every day. So each terabyte is equal to this much. This is the biggest number. That means as according to the latest estimate, more than 328 millions of the data is being generated every day. That means there is a demand for the data. So this growing of the data will never stops, because all the organizations, maybe a smaller organization, they are depending on the data. So as the data is growing very rapidly, a tool like Power BI, which will work on that particular data, which will connect with the data, from that data, it will try to create some meaningful reports. Then there will be a demand for a tool, and this Power BI we call it as visualization tool, where you connect with the data and show that data in the form of some visuals, so that client may interpret his business very easily. So where his products are lagging, how the business performance is going on. So in different regions, how he's performing, those type of analysis will be useful for them. And what is the proof that the data is generating very rapidly? So when you look at this data generation of the data in the 2010, that you can see the data is only of 1 or 10 terabytes, because there will be previously we used to use the file-based system where everything records are stored manually. So the file-based system is there, and everything is captured. The information is captured manually, so that generation of the data is not that much huge. But when you look at this global scenario, as the time progresses, like we can see, everything has gone to the digitalizations. So previous 10 or 15 years back, you don't have some WhatsApp, you don't have some Instagram, you don't have some different type of GPay or phone pay, or the people's are this type of and hourly spending of the internet is also very less. But nowadays, the internet cost has become very cheaper, that a person who, particularly in case of India, not only all over the world, the cost of the internet becomes very easy, and hourly spending of the persons is increasing day by day. And one more thing, the introduction of this smartphone culture, like you can see that India has latest report says of China, India is the largest is the country holding the number holding the highest number of the smartphones. So once there, everything has become, and their internet cost is low, and most of the people are spending hourly spending on the internet is being increasing. So whatever the site you browse, and back end they are capturing your data. So it may be into online shopping, you are search for an education fund, personal loan, and back end your email ID or everything will be tagged. That means data is generated very rapidly. And nowadays social media has got and now the presence of the social media has spread so rapidly. So due to this, like social media sites like Twitter, it is capturing a lot of data very daily, Stipple, LinkedIn, and what the social media sites due to this the lot of amount of generating data is generating day by day. So almost in 2020 or 24, you can see more than 100 and 175 terabytes of the data is being generated annually. That means the demand of the data, it is not surprised that within 2020 or 26, you can cross 200 terabytes of the data. But the problem is all the companies are having the data, but they are looking for a tool which will efficiently analyze the data and provide the insight from the data. Okay, provide insight from the data. So that insight should be in the form of some reports. you are not provide the data in the form of some Excel or some tables, it will become very hard for them to interpret the data. So they are looking for a tool which can capture the data, which we can connect the data. From that, it will create some beautiful and amazing reports. And those reports will be helpful for the client to analyze its business. So here comes the Power BI, where it will connect to that particular data source. And from that data source, it will try to create some important visuals. And that visuals will be important for the client to understand this business. So as therefore the demand of the data is there, and there will be a demand for a tool like Power BI, which will efficiently works on the data. And you can say that before the Power BI, is there any tools that that they will connect to the data and provide the reports in the form of visuals? Yes, previously we have the ClickSense, and after that the Tableau came into the picture. And now you can see about this Power BI. So once the Power BI was launched in the 2017, so it has penetrated very rapidly as it is a Microsoft product. So all the options are very here. The one more important thing is a person who is from non-technical, who want to shift his career to the technical side of within the 2 or 3 months, or but by learning the course in 1 or 2 months, then the Power BI is the right choice, because a person from the non-technical background can also learn the Power BI. And the second thing, then there is no as such a typical coding is involved. When you want to learn the courses like Python, when you want to learn the courses where the coding knowledge involved like Java, so it will take a lot of months, maybe 6 or 7 months for the training, and there's a lot of experience will be needed. But the Power BI, it is a low coding language, or we can call as no coding, and a person who can drag have a knowledge on drag and drop option, and who has some knowledge for this particular data, I can select this visual. So by looking at data, if I can represent a pie chart, it will be more meaningful. If I represent in the bar chart, so it will be easy for client. Some type of the logical thinking, if it is there in your mind, then the Power BI becomes, because all the options are straightforward in the Power BI. There is no that much logic in that much lot of technical knowledge involved. That's why nowadays the Power BI is the use of the Power BI is penetrating rapidly. Okay. When you look at one more thing is, if somebody asks about what is Power BI, there's the Power BI. In the Power BI means the meaning of BI means nothing but business intelligence. So the Power BI is a tool which performs this business intelligence. So before understanding this, you need to understand what exactly what this business intelligence is. So if you not understand this word, and attending this demonstration will not make any meaning. Okay. See, the business intelligence means this business intelligence actually it is a process where we can use some tools, or whether we can use some methods, whether in business intelligence we use some techniques. So particular in the Power BI, now Power BI is a tool. Like here, Power BI is a tool. With the help of this Power BI tool, what you will do, you will collect the data. Suppose when you join in any organization, suppose your client is somewhat Amazon, client will give his data to you. What you will do, by using this Power BI tool, you will collect the data. And after collecting the data, you will start analyzing the data. So in the Flipkart, you will see what is the ship date, what is the order date, how many products are added, what is the return date, what is the ship date, okay, how much time taken to deliver the product, what is their product portfolio, what in different categories Amazon is selling the product, like which products are sell more, and which the products is in the last few years, since how what is the purchasing parity of that for that particular product. So is the products are returned, what is the price of the product, how many quantity of the products are sold, what is the order date, what is the ship date, what is the return date. So all this which will be there in tapes of that the tape the data, it may be in the form of SQL server, it may be in the form of table. You will start analyze that particular data. And first you will collect the data given by the client. In the second process, you will start analyzing that particular data. And in the third step, you will try to transform the data. So you can't expect the data is ready-made to build the visuals. Somebody say of like suppose 5 or 6 people are attending my demo and they will ask to give your name or something to give your details, and everyone will give the details in a different format. Okay, suppose I've asked you to give the pin code like your phone number. Sometimes some people will type it as PHON for NUMBR phone number full. Somebody will type as mobile number. Somebody type and give us contact number. Somebody give it as a WhatsApp number. Somebody type as m.no. Somebody type as MOBNO. Somebody type as MOBILINE mobile number. So everything is same. Some people have CON, contact, NUM number. Some will try it as a contact number. Like every will write type of a different, so that I will not get the data in a unified format. So, but before building the visuals, so in that name is different, but in that you are giving the phone number. So I will convert all that your header settings into mobile number or contact number. So if that type of called as a transformation, don't think the data will come in the ready-made format so that I can build the visuals and I can share it to the client. So the client will not approach you for that. That means a person who is having some basic knowledge can build the visuals and the chart. So you will try to transform that particular data because the organization when will approach you, the data will be somewhat unstructured format. It will be not in a structured format. And it is a duty of your Power BI developer. You need to collect the data. You need to analyze this data, whether it is insurance, it is belonging to retail data, or it is a finance data, or it is a banking data. What are the tables involved? So you should take some time to understand that particular data. And if the data is not in the organized format, you need to transform the data into some organized format. Then from after collection, analyzing, transform data here, then you will start build a valuable and meaning. You'll try to bring some valuable and meaningful information from the data. So how you can give them valuable and meaningful information? So in the form of some visuals, in the form of some reports, then you will try to build some meaningful information from the data which is given by the client. And you will from this data you will try to create some meaningful information, and by in the Power BI you will give that meaning information. Client is giving the data, but you are working with that data only, and you creating some reports from it, some 10 to 20 pages, and some pie chart, some graph chart, some donut chart from decomposition tree, some slices, some different type of chart, gauge chart, your waterfall chart, or different types of the chart, you ribbon chart. You will try to create some visuals, and you will give again, you will give that information to the client. And after giving that information in the form of drafts, then client will take his decision. Yeah, by looking at, if I say, if I by looking at the graphs or some reports, he will try to analyze his business. So you can see and in which area is down, which how much products are making good sales, in which area his products are dipped in the market. So and he will try to improve his decision process, and if that will helpful to improve his business process, and thereby it will helpful for the optimization of his business. So as a business Power BI developer, what you will do when you join in a company, then you will use this Power BI tool, and you will collect the data, you will analyze data, and you will transform the data. For doing this, you are depending upon which tool? Power BI tool. And data is provided by whom? The client will provide the data. And from that, what you are building? Again, you are building some reports from the data. And again, to whom you are sharing? To sharing to the client who have provided you data. So you are taking the data from the client and getting the creating the reports and visuals, and again you are sharing to the client. So, and you can say, sir, a client can do the reporting Power BI tool itself, and he can, why he is depending upon the Power BI developer? Because his business is into the retail sector like Flipkart, and he has some business priorities. His business priorities is to sell the products and capture the products to do the market. He is into the that business. But for analyzing the data, you don't have that skill set in the Power BI. You don't have some technical knowledge related to the business analytics. So you will hire the Power BI developer. You will go for the company who has Power BI developer. He will give that sensitive data to him, and those Power BI developer will work on the data and he will give that information in the form of some reports. And that by looking at the business, he will take his business. So if these products are selling more, then he will try to, yes, he will try to get more stock of that products. So it is like you are looking at the watch of the client and you will say this is the time. That means you are taking the data from him and you are creating the reports and you are selling the report to the client. So this entire process, we call it as business intelligence. Here, the tool we are using is Power BI tool. And the data sources we are connecting either Excel or we can connect to some databases. So this is called as business. This entire process, with the help of a Power BI tool, we can perform this business intelligence process. That's why we call it as, some people are calling Power BI as business intelligence software. Why it is called business intelligence software? Because it is performed the process of business intelligence. And one more thing, this is see what is the key components of the business intelligence. If I break this process, you can understand. See, first what you will do, the client will product the data. So in the first step, you will collect the data. Next, what you will do, you will process the data and you will transform the data. Processing and transformation is nothing but your data may be in some unorganized format. The data we call it as raw data. So you will try to transform the data. You will try to make the data into a structured format. And after processing the data, what you will do? Yes, your data is fine. You have refined the data. Now you will study to analyze that particular data. So that process is called as data analysis. That means what are the columns are involved. So what is this business and what are the different types of products are there in this table. So what is the quantity? So what is the discount, profit, everything you try to analyze that process. That we call it as data analysis. And after data analysis done, then you will come to think that yes, from this I will try to create the reports. So that process, and I for creating the reports in the business intelligence, we'll create the reports. First, you try to create the visuals. In particular report, we have 10 or 15 visuals to try to create. So by looking at the data, you will see yes, for this data I can create from this data for this segment, this particular segment, I can create pie chart. For this particular columns, I can prepare some donut chart or some can create some waterfall chart. So from that, you can create these different visuals. See, this is donut chart, this bar chart, pie chart, or scattered chart. So that the type of the graphs you will prepare, the visuals that you will build, that we process, we call it as data visualization. From all the visuals are created, from that you will try to create some report. So you directly cannot create the visuals, right? From that you will give the build a report. You will give suitable title and you will create align these visuals in the proper format, and you will share the reports in the form of report. And from the reports, so if for particular data you may create some 10 or 15 reports. Okay, think. Then sometimes you will try to create a dashboard. Dashboard is nothing but it will be give the high level performance of the business. Suppose you are working for a company CEO, you are providing like to the company CEO, you want to provide some dashboard, some business overview to him. So in that condition, so you will for suppose think that for report you have prepared 10 reports. For operation team, you have prepared one report. Some data analytics team, you have prepared one report. Some data engineering, you have prepared one report. For operation team, you have prepared one report. For HR department, you have prepared one report. For marketing department, you have prepared one report. Some finance department, you have prepared one report. So suppose there are 10 or 12 reports for you have prepared for a particular company. So how is business is performing? But now to CEO, he want to forecast his business to his chairman or something to the client. In that condition, what you will say, you will from all different reports, you will try to capture the highlights of the business from the summary page, and you will pin it to the dashboard. From the HR department, you don't want how many are recruited in each one. Just demand how many, what is the total count compared to that this year, how many are recruited and how many we are interviewed. So how many has selected. So what is the interview success rate? So only that high level information he want. So from HR report, he will try to pick up some high level information. He will attach to the dashboard. From marketing informant, so how many are right? What is their budget? How is their performance? What is their target? And what is the growth rate? So he want high level information. So from marketing report, he will take out that information and you will pin to the dashboard. You will attach to the dashboard. So but when you look at this dashboard is prepared from the report only. We have built the dashboard from different reports, and from different reports, you will try to capture some high level information. That high level information will attach to the dashboard, and this CEO will present this information to his like client or to the higher authorities. So this is called from different visuals you club together and you create reports. And from the different report, you will take the necessary information and you build the dashboard. So dashboard is collection of important information from the different reports. We call it as a dashboard, which will show you the high level information of this business. So all this process we perform in the business intelligence. First, you collect the data, you clean the data, you analyze the data. From that, you create the visuals. From the visuals, you create the reports. From the reports, you create a dashboard. So this entire process also, as a Power BI developer, you will do. That's why they are calling BI means business intelligence, and Power BI we call it as business intelligence software. Okay, this is the basic that you need to understand, because some of the person might be attending the demo, they may be quite new. Okay, this if somebody asks at the end of the demo, straight away I will can jump into the technical knowledge and what this is the Power BI tool. But as a person, you need to understand how the business process is running at the back end. What is actually the business intelligence? Then it becomes easy for a person to understand the exact information and what are the role that you are fit for. Okay, it's not blindly I'm saying yes, Power BI has a demand in the market, but most of the people, but here's there is a demand why to learn the Power BI. So what is a book that can Power BI can do that you need to understand. Okay. Now next one, if the Power BI we call it as a business intelligence software, but when we deep dive into the Power BI, so what actually the Power BI can be do? So the first one, the Power BI, some people if you ask the Power BI, they're telling the Power BI as an ETL software. Okay, so after this, I will try to take some practical session. What is ETL? How the reports will build? But after the last 10 or 10 minutes, I will. So what is a Power BI interface look? But first, you need to understand. Some people we call it as ETL software. What is meant by ETL software? The E means the word E means extract. Extract means connecting to the data. Suppose you are joined as a Power BI developer and the company is giving some data like Amazon. They will give that they are showing the data in the SQL server. First, you need to extract the data. That means you connect the data from their database and you need to bring the data into your Power BI tool. Unless you are not able to bring that in data into Power BI tool, you cannot work on the data, right? Yes, that data is stored in the client database. Now you need to connect to the data. So the process of getting the data from that client database and inputting your data into your Power BI tool, that process we call it as extraction. And after extracting the data, so you tried extracted, you have got the data in the Power BI desktop. Next, the process comes to T, transform the data. So you need to transform the data according to your requirement. So sometimes the tables may not be organized. So the table names or column names are not in a proper manner. So they have not stored some of the data in. There is something the data discrepancy is there that you need to transform that part data. So if the data that may be stored in the form of raw data, so you can directly cannot build the visuals on that raw data. So first you need to you need to see the data is organized or not. So then you need to structure your data so that once your data transformation is perfect, then only you will try to work on build the visuals from this. Okay. Now L transform called as loading. So after the transform your data, yes, if it is perfect, then you will load the data into Power BI. Yeah, once you have loaded the data into Power BI, so this now you will try to analyze the data, right? So the process of extracting the data and the process of transforming the data and loading the data, this is called ETL. So in order to perform this ETL operation in Power BI, there is one tool within Power BI. That tool we call it as Power Query. Okay, in the first out of the 50 hours of the class, first 10 hours of the class, we will discuss on this ETL software in Power BI, that what we call it as Power Query. So the Power Query where you can perform the ETL transformation. That's why some people, if they are asking They are saying the Power BI is an ETL software because they within the Power BI there is a Power Query tool which will which will perform this ETL transformation. Now, what is so special in this ETL software? In the beauty of using this ETL software in Power Query, in the Power BI, the ETL software is Power Query. There is no coding, and you can say zero coding is involved. Just you need to play with menu-based option, and backend the Power Query will itself write the code. So if you perform same operation in the Power Query, if you want to do that in Excel, you need to write very lengthy code. And if you perform the same operation, if you want to write in SQL, you have to write a lengthy code. Just in the this Power Query is designed in such a way that just you need to play with some menu-based options. Just you need to play with the menu-based option, and the backend it will write a code. That code, the Power Query is writing, we call it as M code. The meaning of M code is mesh-up language code. So that's why the Power BI has got rapid. So they have designed very user-friendly tool by looking at the options. The options are self-speaking. So a person who is having some basic English knowledge can understand and they can perform that operation. That's why it is a very user friendly, and a person having some basic knowledge can able to use that option and get the result desired knowledge without desired output without having the coding language. So that's why the Power Query, that Power BI, we call it as ETL software, and the ETL software in the Power BI, we call it as Power Query. And next one after data analysis software. So you have loaded the 100 tables, 15 tables. First, you need to build a relationship between the tables. Okay, suppose from the tables, all the tables you have tried to suppose there are two tables. Using the two tables, I want to build one visual. But as the data is stored in two different tables, and you have to build a visual from that two different tables, first you need to relate the tables. You need to establish some relationship between the tables by looking at the common ID. Suppose I am one geography table and relating some master table which contain all information. So we try to look up, yes, in geography table, I have geography ID. So in the master table, whether geography ID is there, you try to build the link that gives the relationship between the tables. So in the product in the master table, you have all the products and you have product table separate. So whether I can link these two tables by using product ID. So such a type of relationship you will try to build. That process we call it as data analysis. So in the data analysis software, we have classes called as Power Pivot, which is a data analysis software in the Power BI. So after completing the Power Query and the next 10 hours of the classes, we will discuss with the Power Pivot, where we try to build the relationship, where we try to understand the data modeling. So how to build the relationship between the tables and how to build some schemas, star schema, snowflake schema. That type of total analysis in the next 10 hours of the classes we'll discuss with the data analysis software, which we call it as Power Pivot. And next one, some people, that's why we are building the relationship between the tables. That's why we are building the relationship with the tables. We are creating some schemas. So that's why we are doing some data analysis here. That's why some people are calling it as data analysis software. And after completing 10 hours of the classes, there is an component which in the Power BI called as Power View. Power View. So with the help of the Power View, we will try to create some visuals. So that's why the Power BI, we call it as visualization software. See, once I open this Power BI, see, this is the Power BI tool. So this is the Power BI tool. When you load the Power BI desktop, so this is a software that you will be looking after it. So I am calling it as a Power View visualization software. That means this is the area you have some 120 of some 50 or 60 hundreds of the charts, and we'll be discussing each and every chart, and we will try to build the reports over here. Okay, suppose if I want to create, these options are very self-speaking. Okay, if I go to any one of the report over here, and if you try to create some visuals over here, this is the area where I can create the visuals. Okay, this is called as, so if you select the pie chart will be coming over here. And I will try to explain how to get the data. But once this understanding is completed, why it is called ETL software, Why it is called visualization software? With the help of this visual, you will create some amazing visuals and amazing dashboards or amazing reports from here. That's why it is called visualization software. With the Power Query, you will do the transformation. That's why it is called ETL software. With the help of Power Pivot, which is the component of Power BI, you will do the data analysis. That's why it is called data analysis software. With the Power BI, we'll try to create some visuals. That's why we call it as visualization software. And by clubbing all the visuals, you will try to create some reports from it. That's why the Power BI, we call it as a reporting software. And all this process are coming under the process of data analysis. That's why the Power BI, we call it as data analytics software. And all these are the components of business intelligence. That's why the Power BI is called as business intelligence software. So you need to understand, I will help you how you can connect the data. I will help you how, what is the Power Pivot I can show like. And with the help of that, how we can create the visuals that we can at the end of the last 10 minutes of the class, I will show about the interface. But only these are the three components we will study. Like for first two classes, we'll study about ETL Power Query. Next, we'll move to the Power Pivot, where we understand the data analysis part. And the next 10 or 15 class visualization software. So how to create the visuals from the data. So this is called, that's why the Power BI is called as business intelligence software, because this entire process is called as business intelligence, that what we have discussed previously. And this understanding, we'll see why we are moving forward. What is the need for representing the data in the form of visuals? So if the data is in the form of, suppose I represent the data in the form of this visuals like bar chart, or if I represent in the data in the form of this pie chart, it becomes very easy for client to understand this business. So by looking at this data and suddenly I ask to anyone you are attending the demo, which is having the highest sales, you can directly see the rest bar, it is having the highest height, and you can say the category A is having the highest sales. And if I ask suddenly which is having the lowest sales, you can directly come, yes, category E and category F, these two are the graphs which are having same height, these are having the lowest sales. So by looking at the visuals, you try to speak and say, but if I give the same, I will give some values to the data. And if I say suddenly which is having highest sales, it will take some time for you. So for this 7 to 8, you need to go to the value and you need to say, search for the value and you need to search which value is highest. And if you represent in the form of table, it becomes a lot of time. It will take a lot of time for you. But I assume these are sevens. What about if I have 100 records? In that 100 records, you need to go record by record if you store in the Excel and if you store give in the form of tabular format. If I provide the data from in the Excel format in this bar chart format and sort it descendingly, then you can understand which is having the highest having the highest sales. So suppose this is the regions of the data. If I am representing the form of pie chart, so if I suddenly ask which is having the highest sales, and within the fraction of seconds, you can say this is having 45% and this is 45% is in North America. You can directly say North America is having highest sales. So it becomes very easy for you to interpret the results when you when you share them in the form of visuals, right? So it is, if I ask some story, if you ask me, yeah, if I am showing the Bahubali story in the form of a word, within the theoretical, if I show the, not showing any visual, just I tell the story, whether it feels a lot of excitement for you, or whether I will store some important visuals, I will show you and I narrate you by showing some visuals, by showing some videos, then that will be more exciting for you and that will have more impact. In the similar sense, everybody is having the data. The data is there. If the Flipkart, every transaction it is recording at their backend. But they need some persons to analyze the data and give that holistic data in the form of some visuals. So that by looking at, yes, this is my business. Because those persons are non-technical. So to understand this data, whether we have some technical knowledge, well, no technical knowledge, just a basic knowledge, that means highest shaded area has highest sales. That common sense, if you require, you can interpret. So this is a similar sense for the business as well. When the client approaches you, they want the data, they want the reports, the visual should be self-speaking. So the Power BI, with the help of this Power BI, we can create some amazing visuals and which is very user friendly for a client to understand. That's why the Power BI is getting the rapid pace in the market. And one more thing, I'm saying data analysis, how the data analysis will take place. When you move somewhat technical aspect into this data analysis part, you need to understand how this process of the data analysis will work. So every organization, first of all, every organization will store the data in one database. That database, we call it as OLTP database. The place where the company store their business data or their transactional data, we call it as OLTP database. That means any small organization will store the data in Excel. Some larger organizations, as data size is used, they will store the data in some Oracle database or SQL Server database. The place where they store the data, business data, we call it as OLTP database. And we cannot directly connect to this OLTP database, and you directly we cannot build the reports. So this data may not be organized format. So we'll apply some ETL transformation. We'll extract the data into your Power BI. We'll transform the data into organized format, and we will load the data. Then only we'll use the data. So on the OLTP database, if you are perform some ETL transformation, that database we call it as OLAP database. OLAP database. That means this OLAP database means here the data will be here the data may be some unstructured data, but you have performed the ETL transformation. You have cleaned up the data. You have the processed the data into standard format. Then the database we call it as OLAP database. This is online transactional processing, online analytical processing. So this is called as online analytical processing. That means here we have applied some ETL transformation and you convert this OLTP to OLAP database. And now we'll connect to this OLAP database and you will try to create the visuals and you will try to create the reports from it. And this reports contain some actionable information. What I mean by actionable information, this is the information where the client can use that information to take his business decision. That is called as actionable information. And after creating the reports, what you will do? You will share the reports to the client. What the client will use? The client will use that information and he'll analyze his business and he will try to take some business decisions so that his business can be informed, can be improved in the near future. His business can improve in the coming years. He can understand what are the loopholes of the business. He can understanding in which regions is performing better. He can understand how in which products are making highest sales. He can understand in particular in which categories business is performing well. He can understand which products are making more profit, and he can understand which headquarters are not performing well, and he can understand why these products are declined in the market, and how in each day how many products are added for the particular product, and if the person is making return the product, what is the feedback of the customer. So those type of all the information he can analyze once we share that report in the form that information in the form of report to the clients. That's why the client will show like maintain. We will give his data and he will hire some Power BI developers by giving for that particular project. Why you able to spend 30 or 40 or 50 lakhs on it? Because he has the data, but he's looking for a person who will analyze the data and give a report in the form of some visuals so that he can improve his business. So as a Power BI developer, you will connect to the data which is given by the client, refine that particular data, convert the data into structured format, analyze this data by building some relationship, create some important visuals, create some reports and dashboard out of it, and you will share it to the client. And client will use that reports to analyze his business. So this is called as data analysis part. So if the data, see structured data means that means this the data will be in perfect format. And semi-structured data means the data is not in the format. This is unstructured data. So unstructured data will be converted into structured data. Based on the structured data only, you will create the actual information. And it is never recommended to create the reports directly on OLTP database. So you will not create because the data may be somewhat like unstructured. So you by using ETL transformation, you convert this unstructured data which is there in the OLTP and you convert into OLAP, the structured data. And from that, you can create the reports and share it to the client. So this is called a data analysis is a 5-step process, and every organization will perform this irrespective of in which organization you work. So this is the basic thing that you need to understand before joining any company. Okay. And now let us understand. Say, I'm from the beginning of the class, I'm saying what is structured data and what is unstructured data. So I want to analyze, I want to say what is the importance of this structured data and unstructured data. So what structured unstructured data means, I'm asking you store the information of that country by sales. So some people are saying United States, they're typing as United States, US. So for that United States, some people are conveying the name with the different names. Some are saying as United States, some are saying as USA, U dot S dot A, United States of America. But when you think here, the information of the sales might be right, but the way of storing their information is something wrong. They are not following some unified pattern. They are not following some structured format to store the information. So as you know that United States, US and USA these are the different, these are the same. So once you United Kingdom, see some people in United Kingdom, they are calling as UK, and some may even call as UDAT. So here the sales is there. If you try to build a visual from this graph without making any changes, without refining this data, if you build this visual and share it to the client, and this is a very wrong information that you are sharing to your client, my dears. Because the United States 500, now this Power BI is thinking that all these are different countries. So for United States, it will give one graph, one bar. In US, it will give one bar. USA, it is giving one bar. For this UK, it is giving one bar. United States, that means for every country that for every one row, it is giving separate values. That means the thing is there is that the problem is not with the Power BI. The problem with you as a Power BI developer, you are not able to identify all these regions are same. Now, what you will do? What are the transformation you will do? You have identified the gaps, that information, there is something wrong in storing the data, and you think this United States, and you will replace US, USA, US dot A, all this with United States. You will make some transformation in the Power Query. And now you convert that unstructured data into now you are converting the data into structured format. And once you structure the format, see United States, all this. Now, if you try to build the visuals for the country of United States, if you try to add all the states of United States, the sales of 100 plus 200 plus 300 plus 400 plus 500. Now the count come to 1500. So the United States, it is making the sales is 1500. For United States, it will club 100 plus 200, that is 300, and it will give the value as 300. So this is called as a structured format. So this to perform this type of operation, you have one tool in Power BI. That tool we call it as Power Query. With the help of that Power Query, you will make this type of transformations and you will try to build the reports out of it. Okay, if you fail to identify the information, if you fail to analyze the data, and if you store this type of without analyzing the transformation, without converting the unstructured into structured data, and you may face some difficult circumstances because at the end of the your data may not be matched up. There will be back and they will be validating with the data from the backside, and that data and your visual data will not match because you are not convert the unstructured data into structured format. So once you data is streamlined, once the data is perfect, you perfectly organize your data, then only you try to create the visuals from it. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult. That means that your visuals may not be come in a correct way. That if you not transform your data in the perfect. So that's why in order to perform this ETL process, there is one tool in Power BI within the Power BI that we call it as Power Query, which is we call it as ETL software. Now to understand the more into C, whatever we have discussed right from the beginning, with these slides we can speak the entire information about the Power BI architecture. So once you can understand this visual, it becomes very easy for a person to understand the entire flow of this class or entire flow of this particular demo. And before, if you join as a Power BI developer, and this type of the flow should be it should be there in your tip of tongue. It should be there in your mind because this will explain you how the business process of flow will run and what is the entire Power BI architecture is. Suppose when you join a company as a Power BI developer, what happens? you will connect, you will, what I said, the Power BI developers are nothing but they will connect the data given by the client. From that time, you will create some visuals and report, you will share it to the client. That is a one step. But when you segregate these steps, see, when we call it as the meaning in the, when you join any company, they will use some technical word called data source. What is meant by data source? The data source is nothing but the data source is a place. This data source is a place where the organization will store their business information, where their organization will store the business data. That place, that is called as data source. So the data source might be Excel. The smaller organization will store the data in the Excel file. If it is the data size is very huge, or some mid-size and large size companies, they will store the data in some SQL Server and Oracle databases. So this we call it as data source. It depends. If the organization have only 10 or 15 or below 100 employees, instead of depending upon the database, they will try to store in the Excel. So the place where the organization will store their business data, we call it as data source. Now, as a Power BI developer, you got a Power BI job. Like as a Power BI developer, you got an opportunity. What you will do? You will try to install the Power BI desktop. What is a Power BI desktop? So this is the Power BI desktop. This tool you will install. Once you install the tool, this is the interface that will open. I will explain in the within after 15 minutes. So this is the Power BI. You will install this tool. Now, with that tool, so whatever the data source will be given by them, you will try to load the data into your Power BI desktop. You will import your, that means import means you will input the data into Power BI desktop. In the Power BI desktop, first you will work on, say, first you will perform Power Queries. So that means you will perform ETL process. What is meant by ETL transport? The process of getting the data from the outside external source into your Power BI desktop. We call it as extraction. So in the Power Query will do ETL process. That means it will try to extract the data and it will try to transform the data. If the data is any changes in the data, you will try to transform. Then afterwards, you will load the data. So in the Power BI desktop, first 10 hours of the classes, we'll discussing about the Power BI. So suppose how you can install in the Power BI is, suppose you have the Microsoft Store system there in your system. Just you need to click on Microsoft Store, click on this Microsoft Store. Once you click on the Microsoft Store, so this is the search button, it will be open for you. Now in that, you need to click on just Power BI. So Power BI desktop app will be there. Just you need to open it. So already my Power BI desktop is installed in my system. That's why it is showing an option called as open. But if it is not there in your system, then it will ask you, it will show option called as download. So here, if you just type an as power, click on OK. See, already it is downloaded here without already. I will not click on it because already Power BI is already open in my system. It is showing the retry in this way. I will not download. But if your Power BI desktop is not installed in your system, instead this option will show you like as download. Just once you click on that download, like this Power BI desktop, this type of interface will be downloaded into your system. Okay. There is another way that you can install the Power BI that I will share 1 2 minutes video to you that how do you download the Power BI desktop through online. Okay. Through Google. I will share that link to you. Just it's like how you install any one app from the Play Store in the same way that you can install the Power BI desktop. Just Power BI desktop download, you click on next, next, and next, and they will automatically the Power BI desktop will be uploaded to your system. So in the first few hours of the classes, you will try to perform this. Once you connect to this data, you will perform the ETL transformation. The ETL transformation of Power BI desktop, we have a tool called as Power Query, which will perform this ETL operation. Now, next after discussing of the 10 classes or 15 classes, we go to Power Pivot. In this Power Pivot, suppose you will load in the Excel or SQL Server or Oracle databases, how the organization store their data. The organizations will store the data in the form of tables. So we'll load the tables in the Power Pivot. We'll try to establish the relationship between the tables. We will try to build some data modeling between the tables. We try to establish some schema or relationship between the tables. So that part we'll be studying in the Power Pivot. So while establishing the relationship, we'll try to establish build a schema like snowflake schema or star schema that we'll be discussing the classes when you deal with Power Pivot. So those type of data analysis we'll do in the Power Pivots. So the data modeling or that you will be discussing, and you will study about some in the Power BI. There is only one part called as DAX, where they will where the coding is involved. Except that part in the Power BI, we don't have any coding. So the DAX also will be discussed while studying on the Power Pivot. Okay. Now after that, the data will move to Power View. Power View means nothing but here what I am shown by using this visuals in the Power BI desktop. We have the visuals called as here. This from this we'll try to create the reports from it. So that reports will be shared to the client that we call it as Power View. Okay, in the Power BI desktop, first with the help of Power Query, we'll transform your data. With the help of Power Pivot, we'll try to do the data analysis. We will do the data modeling. With the help of Power View, you will try to build the report. So entire this process will be done in the Power BI. It will done by the Power BI developer by installing the Power BI desktop. So this is the Power BI desktop. In the Power BI desktop only, you will try to build the visuals. You will try to build the reports, and you will try to share the reports to the client. Okay. Now, the entire process of this Power BI, when you look at this Power View, from this Power View, we'll try to create the reports. So now this you are developing the Power BI, you are developing the report in the Power BI desktop. This part we call it as developmental part. Okay, the power in the Power BI desktop, the developmental phase of the report will be completed here with the help of Power Query, Power Pivot, and Power View. So reports. Now you have developed the report in the Power BI desktop. How you have developed by connecting the to the data sources which is provided by the client. Now your report is in the local system. See how now I would suppose I report I have developed the report in my local system. But what is my next step? I need to share the report, right? I need to publish the report. So I need to publish the report so that the client can access the information because it is in my local desktop and the client cannot access my local desktop. So how I can publish the report? So here also in the Power BI desktop, once you see there is an option called as actually publish. So from there you need to publish the report. How to publish the report, I will explain you. So how to you can able to publish the report. Once there is a two ways that you can publish the reports. So there is a some cloud-based platform called as Power BI service. This cloud Power BI service is a online cloud-based service where you can publish the report. From this cloud-based Power BI service, you will share the report. This report will be used by the client. So next, after completing 10 of classes like 15 classes or 45 hours and 5 or 6, 7 classes, we'll discuss on this Power BI service, how to publish the reports, how to share the reports, and how to do the incremental refresh, how to implement row level security. So with the Power BI service also, we have some option called schedule refresh. That means you can schedule your refresh in the report once you publish here. So in a without licensing, we have some licensing for this Power BI report like pro licenses, premium per pro licenses, premium license. So if you go for normal pro licensing, in within 1 day you can refresh your report 8 times. Okay, by using schedule refresh. Schedule refresh means you would schedule some time like morning 3 o'clock, like a morning 4, evening afternoon 12, evening 6 o'clock. That you will make schedule some time, and based upon that time, your report will be automatically refreshed. So this is to once you develop the report, there is one area, one cloud-based platform where you can publish the report. That cloud-based platform, that Azure-based cloud-based platform, we call it as Power BI service. So from the Power BI service, we share the report, and the client we share the reports to whom client, and client will use this information to take his business decision. So this is called as, so there is another way where the Power BI developer can publish to the Power BI report server. But this is a local server that he can publish the reports from there. He can share the report to the client. But 99.99% they are depending now as the cloud technology came into existence. Most of them are publishing the reports in the Power BI service only. From the Power BI service, we share the report. So there is some area you develop the your report from in the Power BI desktop, but in order to share the report to the company, there should be some space, there should be some area, there should be some cloud-based platform, there should be some web-based online platform to publish the reports so that you can share the report to the client. That we call it as Power BI service. And some for 7 to 8 classes will be studying on the Power BI reports. So here, from here, you can give access to the different persons. You can share the reports and you can schedule your refresh. Here you can try to convert the reports in the form of PPT, and he will give some, assign some permissions. You will implement some row level security over here. So that type of the that type of the subject, that type of the topics that you will be studying in Power BI. Simply as a one word, see, the client will approach us, you, they will provide the data. You will install as a Power BI developer, you will install the Power BI desktop. With the help of Power Query, you will do ETL transformation. With the help of Power Pivot, we will build the relationship between the tables which are there in the client database. And with the help of the Power BI desktop, we have some visuals. From that, we will create the report. From that create, you will be develop the report in Power BI desktop. After that, you will publish the report in the Power BI service. From the Power BI service, you will share the report to the client, and the client will access the reports to perform his business decision. So this entire process, we call it as Power BI architecture. Okay, and 90% as a Power BI developer, 90 to 95% you will spend here in the Power BI desktop. And one more thing, why it is the persons who are working on within the 2 months, they can get the knowledge of like they can keep 4 or 5 years of experience and they can get the job. The reason being the 2 months, whatever you will no need to learn the other tools. With the help of this only Power BI, with the help of this, the 40 hours or 50 hours the class that we will be working on a single tool. How to get the data, how to transform the data, how to create the visual. So with the help of this one tool, if you have a knowledge on this, where directly menu-based options are involved, so it becomes easy for a person. If you, how much the expertise you will get on this tool, so that much experience you will get, so that it is the right way person who's looking to shift his career from non-technical to technical. Okay, because it will, the tool is very easy, and tool itself is designed in a way that a non-technical person can understand and can transform his career. So once you understand this basis, it will becomes easy. Now I will try to explain with the Power Query how you can extract the data, how you can establish the relationship, how you can create the visuals. Okay. And one more thing, entire if you represent in the form of this process business flow, what I've explained is simple. See, this is the data sources. You will connect the data sources to Power BI desktop. In the Power BI desktop, you will develop the report. And from that, you will publish the reports to Power BI service. From the Power BI service, you will share the reports to the client. Client will see the report in the form of mobile phone. He can access the report through his Power BI laptop or his desktop or computer. He can use his reports to in the form of some app like a iPod or something that you can able to see it. So this is the type of information that you can see over here in the form mobile. You can access through his laptop. It can compare to the different type. You can able to see the information with the way the client can access the report. So this is the process for the Power BI. And one more thing, most of the people are asking now why the Power BI got so much demand over here. So you can ask me what before Power BI. So now you are saying the Power BI is a visualization tool in like 2017 slowly. It has launched in the 2017, 2017, 18, 19. It is slowly entered. And now once the 2021 to 2022, now when they by 2022, this Power BI help has taken the place of Tableau, which was a market leader in the market. In the visualization, the Tableau enjoyed the leadership for many years. So every visualization tool, they used to depend upon the Tableau. But now when this tool was introduced by the Power BI, now the place of the Tableau was taken by Power BI. All the reports which are developed in the Tableau, and they're asking you to migrate that reports into Power BI, because the this is a and Power BI has taken the once it has entered into the market, most of the market of the Tableau was taken by the Power BI. But there are still jobs on the Tableau also, but all the reports are being migrated to the Power BI now. Okay, so what is the reason? Like this, the Power BI, which is launched very late in the market in the 2017, within the launch of 5 or 6 or 7 years, why it is able to beat the tough competitor leader in the Tableau? The reason being integrated with the Microsoft ecosystem. So when you look at the Power BI, Microsoft, we have Microsoft Excel, Azure, SQL Server, Power BI. So it can easily integrate with the other Microsoft products, because you can see the Excel when it was introduced. It's by our fathers who have used the Excel, but still now the Excel is in the market. Many organizations still they are using Excel. That means that is the power of when a product comes under the from the Microsoft. Okay, they will try to innovate the tool every month. They will add, try to increase new version, this version Excel, this 2.0 version. They will try to upgrade that molecules. They will try to upgrade their tool. Okay, and so Power Tableau can also integrate with other data sources, but it can require some additional configuration. But for integrating with the Excel Azure, they are also Microsoft product. This Power BI also Microsoft product. So seamless integration, smooth integration can happen with it. Now, cost effectiveness. When you buy a product or when you purchase a tool, you look at the cost, right? First, cost and quality purpose. Quality wise, it is very good. Security wise, Power BI is good. And cost wise, also, it is very good. Very most cost effective. But for the initial setup of the Tableau, it requires additional cost. That's why it has beat the Tableau. But now, ease and use. So, very easy, user friendly. The options are self-speaking. So by using the menu based option without writing any code, you are able to use that option, which are very user friendly, very easy to understand, and a non-technical guy can also understand that options. That's why, but it is also user friendly, but some users finds Power BI has more intuitive, that the Power BI is more easy when compared to Tableau for understanding their options. That's why the Power BI has taken that place of the Tableau. And we are use the natural Power Query transformation. I already said in the Power BI we have an ETL tool. That ETL tool called as Power Query. With that Power Query has hundreds of menu-based options. With that I use the we can without writing any code you can transform your data. And that options are very simple speaking, very easy to understand. So with the due to the presence of this Power Query ETL tool called Power Query, then most of the people are habituated to work with that Power Query. That's why here also Tableau also offers some data preparation, but Power Query is more straightforward, more versatile, more easy to understand. No coding is involved. That's why people are migrating to the Power BI. And natural query process in the Power BI, you can see like there is to build up on the chart. There is a visual called as a question and answer visual. So if you want to create the chart bar chart, just you need to type create a bar chart with the region wise sales. Just you type based on the natural language, it will build a chart by yourself. So there is one chart visual called as you can see in here this question and answer visual, the Q&A visual. So with the help of this visual, if you try to write something in this visual, in the coming class, I will explain you in the Q&A visual. Just you type in the question and answer visual, you type here, I want the region wise sales, create a chart. I want like this pie chart for region wise sales. Just you type this type of commands. Okay, suppose if you data connected to that orders table where the region and sales, then it automatically it will create a visual for you. Okay, that is type of a natural query language options are there with the Power BI. It is also there, but is not that much advanced when compared to the Power BI. So the person you have no technical background, create a by chart by region, category by sales. You type, it will create the chart for yourself and it will give the output. Okay. Now security. Security and governance means once you purchase the product, you will look at whether the product is secure. So thus Power BI, robust security is there with the Power BI, which is more advanced when compared to the Tableau. But it is also strong security feature, but requires additional configuration for certain security. It requires some additional configuration that may have additional cost, that may impose additional cost to you. So the security and governance performance, also the Power BI is beating the Tableau. That's why people are migrating towards the Tableau. And real-time data analytics. So it can perform, supports large data sets and data sets, and it will create some real-time data analytics, perform the data analysis process effectively when compared to that of the Tableau. And Azure integration. So the cloud-based platform that we look at the Power BI service, we call it as Azure-based platform. So as Azure is also product from the Microsoft product, so Azure integration is become very easy because Azure is a Microsoft product and Power BI is a Microsoft product. So integration of with the cloud-based platform, it is very easy when compared to the Tableau. But here also it can connect to Azure, but Power BI may have more similar Power BI may have more seamless experience because both are into the Microsoft ecosystem. That is one of the reason it has Power BI has got a lot of scope in the market. And community learning and resources. What is meant by community learning and resource? So this Power BI has one developed community called as Power BI community, where you can impose some questions on it. So if you stuck somewhere and if you take the screenshot, have stuck here, and in the Power BI community, most of the people will looking at it and they will try to, this is the result. Yes, I have experienced similar type of a scenario when I am working in the project. Here is the solution that the community people will respond to. So if you are there in the community, somebody people are questioning giving some questions. If you try to explore and you also develop your subject, and if you develop some type of the problems, encounter similar type of the problems, and it will become easy for you to solve. So that community is very vibrant, and daily some people, many people will posing the questions, and you will get the answer because there are a lot of the people are using the Power BI community. So it is like a knowledge center to improve. It is a knowledge center where you can ask your queries and somebody will answer you. It is a queries like similar type of problems if you encounter, and you can able to fix those issue instead of asking the help for someone. But here also Tableau has a community, but Power BI community learning, it is more vibrant, it is more active. Most of the people are there, and most of people are using that community, which is as a knowledge center. Okay, that's why the Power BI has taken the place of Tableau. And update and innovation. This is the first part I can say because Power BI is updating month by month. So in every month, there is at least it will come up some new features, some type of the new visuals will added, some type of the new options will be added. They will try to innovate the tool. It is very simple that a person who is not able to innovate his work, then if you suppose before the Power BI ClickSense is there, MicroStrategy was there. So if you think that I will study with the ClickSense only, now the persons who are learning the Tableau, their place was taken by the Tableau. Now the you think that I will study with the Tableau, I don't want to learn the Power BI. So as some Tableau guild vanishes, then the job holders who has learned the Power BI will take your job. So, and you can see what next after the Power BI, there are other tools may come which will beat the competitors. But in order to sustain that competition, it is proactively updating its tool and it is having some innovative features to its Power BI tool so that it is blocking the competitors, the competitors coming in the future. What is the business? They're trying to update this tool now itself so that they can sustain the competition for the longer period of the time. The Excel is also still there in the market. At least they will add some versions, new versions to it, some features to it, so that they will be in the competitor for the longer time. But a person who are having the knowledge and Tableau, both are the visualization software, so it will not a big for a person to having the knowledge and power Tableau. They can easily shift to the Power BI because the visualization logics will be same, just the tool is different. So here the options will be there at some place. Here we options are there. So the type of the options, the Tableau may be different options, but the type of the work, the business process, the graph. So if you build a bar chart by in the Tableau, build a bar chart Power BI is not a difference. So bar chart will not change, right? But the use of charge, the navigation, how to place that, to use that menu-based outline interface, like the interface might be different, but the logic remains same. Okay. So this is the reason instead of having the integration of the system due to cost effectiveness, due to ease of handling, due to natural language processing, due to the very greatest security, do not to perform real-time analytics, integration with the cloud system, community learning where we can get the answers, updating very frequently. You can see month by month it will update. You can laugh at the last, they will launch the video like what are the updates in the November, October, December. As a Power BI developer, when you install the tool, you need to be watch those videos. Is there any small updates in the month? If you are able to update, it will become very easy for you to upskill. Okay, that's why in order to forecast is competitive in the future, and they will try to updating this to innovative tools innovatively. That's why the Tableau the Power BI will be in the market for the future coming years because of its expertise R&D system, which is there in the Power BI to update this tool so that it can be in the market for the longer period. So I already said why to choose the Power BI. I have already said because this slides is related to the same opportunities that has spoken. Very high demand tool in the market because you cannot name any organization which are not using the Power BI. It may be health sector, it may be finance, it may be automobile, it may be insurance, it may be educational, it may be automobile, it may be aeronautics, it may be a defense, or it may be anything. It may be sports industry or gaming industry. Everybody is depending for the reporting purpose for the Power BI as a tool. So that's why it is a high demand tool in the market. Very wonderful job opportunities. But when you look at this tool, like it is not only in the tool, this is not only in India, as a worldwide, they are looking, they are using this Power BI tool. So there will be wonderful opportunity. So no prior coding language, no coding language is required. If you are a non-technical background, which have zero knowledge of coding, you can learn Power BI. If you know Excel, it will be some added advantage because to interpret formula, the person like in the DAX formula, if you have some knowledge on Excel, the person can easily understand. But if you don't understand, it's not a problem because I will start from very basic level to highly advanced, like a 4 or 5 years of experience person, you will come out of after completing this course. And I said easy to learn easy to learn because Power Query, direct menu based options, cloud integration. I have seen the Azure cloud based integration is their Power based service. Career growth will be once you shift the company, like you can demand for 75%, 100% of the hike also, because that type of the demand there is the market. And low coding and no coding is there, and it is a user friendly tool. And one more thing I want to say it the batch details have already given to you. This is the old batch details, but new batch details have already shared it. So the as a course that we can see, we start from very basic level to advanced. So whatever the interview questions which they are facing, like in the interviews that have more than 500 questions are there. So that type of the interview questions I will be sharing to you so that if you before going to the job interview, because as a person that we have a Power BI developer team, even we are working, we'll try to put the resume over in that we are looking for a job. Reason being in the recent trend, what type of the question they are asking. We'll try to compile that questions and we'll try to conduct the mock interview. Same questions will be asking in the mock interview so that it will become easy for a person to perform in the real-time interview. But the most important thing is after completing of each section, I will conduct the mock interview. Suppose I will, after 10 years, we come 10 after 10 or 15 class, we come Power Query. I will conduct the mock interview on the Power Query. And if 5 students are attending, I will give the Teams link and we'll record that and we'll share it to the personal WhatsApp along with the feedback. And only one thing is out of 10 students that are attending the interview, one of the best performer will pick out and we'll put that interview or the best performance in the group so that it will build some competitive spirit among the other students. So we'll do the end-to-end project execution. We'll at the end of completing all topics, we'll try to complete 2 projects online so that how we can execute the project. And we'll provide that special focus on non-students to students. Like if you are non-technical, not a problem. Or if you're having some technical knowledge, it will be added advantage. And free learning materials after completing the recording will be provided for you. Apart from that, source files and what are the files that are I am using along with the source file, along with the compare Power BI material will be provided to you. And mock interviews recordings also provided to you so that it will be helpful for you. And apart from that, what type of the interview questions which are happened, like for every completing of every topic, I will share 200 to 300 important questions on that particular section, so that you can, by practicing this question, you can crack the interview. It may be 4 or 5 plus interview plus experienced person they are conducting the interview, so that you can able to crack that interview without any support. And apart from that, now Power BI Copilot. This is a reason you some people are how to use the Power BI Copilot. Now Power BI introduced one important thing called as Power BI Copilot. It is like a smart assistant. So what is a smart assistant means? If you give some commands to it, it will understand the plain language, and based upon that commands, it will create the charts and it will create the reports, and it will give the insights for you. So that type of information is there in the Power BI Copilot. That means it will save a lot of time and effort. You know, to have some technical knowledge, create a pie chart that you will give the commands, it will give the command. So for example, I can show you. See, create reports easily. Copilot, with the help of the Copilot, you will give the commands in the natural language that will ask the inputs. You will ask, see, you will ask, show me the sales of last 6 months and get a chart. Then it will go and analyze the data and it will see the last 6 months sales, and it will create a chart and it give the chart to you. So that is called as Power BI Copilot. This is a AI based assistant which is there in the Power BI. You can ask, if suppose you can ask the questions in the plain language. So you have list of the products in 3 or 4 years. You can ask a question. What was the best selling product last year? You just type. It will analyze the data. It will go to the last year. It will search all the products and it will give this is the product which is having the highest sales. So everything it is that is the Power BI Copilot is a very advanced feature which was introduced in the market. Now we'll learn how to use this Power BI Copilot as well. And suppose it highlights sudden sales, it will give some insights also. If you are asking for the region-wise sales, if you ask somebody which is the highest region sales in that particular region, so it will highlights and it will give the insights. So it highlights the sudden sales growth in the region. Suppose if the growth of the in the particular rows is suddenly rise, and it will analyze that and it will give the information. So suppose you have one data, the data contains a lot of, suppose the data, somebody are organized. Suppose if I give the date today, somebody will give type as March 15th, somebody types 15th March, some will type as 15/3/2025, some will type as March 2025. They will give different date format. So fix that, you will say fix the date format, or if a data is removed, you can pass a command remove duplicates. It will automatically remove the duplicates from your data. And you can create the weekly sales report. So if you try to clear the weekly report is there, you will ask to create a weekly report, so and it will automate it. So based on that, it will also give the suggestion by using Power BI Copilot. So it will ask, you can quick insight. You will ask, look at the data and provide the what are the quick insights from it. So it will try to analyze the data within a few fraction of second, and it will give the insights from your data. So that is called as a Power BI Copilot. That's why Power BI is advancing day by day. So instead of building the charts manually, you type a command and it is giving the answers. It will create in the charts. It is creating the visuals. It is analyzing the data. It is giving insights from the data, and it is creating with troubleshooting the errors. It is helpful. And in the DAX, writing some DAX functions also, we are using Power BI Copilot. So that is some what advanced. And you can ask me, sir, is that Power BI, learning Power BI, I will get the job. So what are the additional courses that I can learn? So I want to be into the data analytics team. I'm not restricted to learn the Power BI. I want to upskill. So I want to increase, suppose shift, I want to shift the company by, I need to expect some 100 to 150% hike. So what are the best courses what are the other courses that I can add to my Power BI? So that is called as MS Fabric. The MS Fabric is nothing but to the Power BI, we'll combine the tools like Power BI, we'll add the Azures like SQL, other same. Platform, it allows to collect the data. So it will bring all platforms into a single platform. Like Fabric means it is that bring the together all the tools needed for the data and management, analysis, and visualizations into single one place. So Microsoft Fabric means the SQL server. That means allows to store the data, clean the data, analyze the data, visual the data, and make to manage large amount of information and get quick insights from it. That means it is linking, it is combining the tools of Power BI with Azure and data integration services. That means you don't need to depend on separate platform for each task. For data analysis, for data collection, for SQL, directly you can analyze. For reporting purpose or for analysis purpose, you can for cloud for Power BI. For some cloud-based platform, the Azure. That means you are in order to depending upon individual tools. Microsoft Fabric it is bringing all the tools at a one place so that it is becoming a one-stop solution for you. So learn the Microsoft Fabric. It becomes very easy for you. That means to the Power BI, add SQL to the SQL after some time, like, you can put that one cloud technology, Azure. And after that, if you want to more get the more calls and if you want to demand high package, you can add Python skill set it. Power BI plus SQL, you will get the job. But Power BI plus SQL, you add Azure or you can add MS Fabric, then you will be the hot cake in the market. And if you want to say, I want to be in this data analytics only longer period for 10 to 15 years, you add Python skill set to it. So that means with the Power BI, if you're not getting like Power BI SQL, you have to learn. But Azure, like MS Fabric, you learn from it. And in the future, you take the target of 2 or 3 years or 1.5 or 3 years. And in the long term, after 2 years, I want to add the Python to it. Then you will be safe for a longer period of time. But because as the Power BI is an easy tool, and I can ask some freshers. If I ask vendor, I can say to the rightly in the first class, I say for the freshers, you are not getting the calls. I'm directly, frankly, I'm saying for the fresher, there are no calls for Power BI. Okay, if you keep the experience or 1 or 2 experience also, there is no cloud, no calls for Power BI. So if you're from the non-technical background, so you need to keep the experience of other like Power BI, like in non-technical experience to that have worked in the Power BI. Then you try to shift the career. Then you will get demand the high package in the market. Okay, at least 3 or 3 plus if you keep in the market, due to the present trend, they are getting the more calls. For fresher, they are not, you are not getting calls. But I request as learning Power BI is good for them also because if you add apart from advanced Excel, if you add like Power BI, also knowledge is there. So if the 2 persons are freshers as you are attending, you are saying that this one person is having only Excel knowledge, PowerPoint and Word, and the other person is having knowledge apart from the Power BI advanced Excel plus he is having SQL knowledge and Power BI. As an interview, I will select him. Okay, but directly as a fresher, you keep the measure in the Naukri, I cannot directly call you. But if you go to the offline or if you interview outside, if you attach your Power BI and SQL, the chance of shortlisting is more and the chance of selections will be more. Okay. But for the non-technical background also, if you are non-technical or 4 or 6 years, try to keep last 2, 3 or 3 plus 3 years you worked in Power BI. Learn the tool very strongly and you say that I started my career as a non-technical, but in the last 3 years I got an opportunity to work with the Power BI developer team where I worked on some projects. You can create some dummy project and they will try to shift your career. And once you learn 6 years as a non-technical, and if you go like Power BI, I have only 1 year experience, then also you are not getting the calls. Okay, what I seen because there is a rapid surge in the. I can see some persons who are from the non-technical background who has started the career with the 3 lakhs, but they jumped with the Power BI after learning. They went to the 6 lakhs, and after 2 years they have demand the package of even after 3 years they have demand for 18 to 20 lakhs package. Students are still there because they have the experience, non-technical experience. They have. It's not like they demand the. They have non-technical experience as six. Okay, 6 plus years. But initially, while jumping, what they have kept like 2 years of experience as Power BI. After getting 2 years experience and last 6 years experience in shifting to the second company, they're saying I have already total last 6 years I've worked on Power BI. Then they are trying to get the demand the more type of the package. Okay. Only thing is try to analyze the tool, try to get the expertise and the tool and try to shift in the market. And apart from that, try to not only stop with Power BI, add SQL knowledge to it. Okay, Power BI SQL is mandatory, I'm saying. And then you add the cloud technology. In the long run, you add the Python. Then you will be safe for 15 or 14 years in this field. Then it will be easy. And don't think that only 10 years I will be in the Power BI. Because if everybody learn Power BI and futurely while jumping the path, they will ask, do you have cloud knowledge? Now everybody is shifting to the cloud. Not only rush that initial point, take some time to learn the cloud technology as well so that it will helpful for you. And the more you learn, the more you earn. So that's why don't stop yourself. If it is Power BI, link to that Fabric. You keep a knowledge like 1.5 year. I will try to complete the Fabric. Then you keep as a Power BI plus Micro Copilot and Microsoft Fabric certified. Then because future is Fabric. As a Fabric, they are keeping a lot of cost. Most people are not. Most people are still they are scarcity in the market. Like most of the people do know Fabric. But as a first to me, if you learn the Fabric, have become the Microsoft, have been the certification or cleared the certification course also, then it will be a very advantage for me. So if I shift the career from sales, so I can demand 80 to 100% of the package because Microsoft Fabric certified professors are not there in the market. So in that way, you need to understand. Okay. In the next class, see, if you understand this Power BI also very easy. In the next class, I will explain the what are the concept that we understand the theoretical and yearly. And next in the class, we'll be study about the Power Query. In the Power Query means I have see once you go to the data, Power Query used for the transforming the data, right? One click on the transform data. So these are the menu based options. So in the next class, in the coming 10 hours or 12 hours, we'll be discussing about how each and every option will be helpful for you to transform the data and how to extract the data. Very simple new source. From this is Excel, you can connect to Excel. SQL, you can connect to SQL Server. Just click on Excel, you can load the data. So now if I explain, it will become a very tough for you as a this is a first class. In the next class, I will straight away move to the topics and I will help you how to install Power BI, how to connect the data, and how to make the transformation by using the Power Query. And with the and in the home tab, whatever 20 options are there, in the transform tab, what are the options, and in the add column, what are the options, different options there in the view. We'll go tab by tab and we'll not leave each and every options after completing the course. You will be able to understand as the course is designed where you can complete all the certification exam which relate to the Power BI with the merit based, because our course curriculum is designed based upon that certification. Once you complete this, you can able to crack the interview very easily and you can complete the certification examination related to the Power BI without any paying money to someone. You can clear your examinations. So with this, I'm stopping the class. So if you have any doubts, so that I can able to clear you. So one section.
Yeah, it is clear for me, Janam.
Yeah. Oh, okay, fine. Here, anybody is having doubts? Like Swati, Satyaprakash, like if you have any doubts, like so the batch will be starting from tomorrow. Like if you are interested, that you can just you can give your names if you are trying to interest to learn the course. In the chat box, you can give your numbers so that I can further follow for you with the following batches, because the batch will be starts from tomorrow, and I will create separate group for the confirmed candidates so that you we can start batch right from tomorrow. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
And yeah, meet you in the tomorrow class. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Janam.